The monsters return again.
I do a good Frankenstein, don't I?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
I teach my kids in school to do it too.
Today we're going to talk about the Remco Universal Monsters toy line. So, following the success of the 1970s Energized superhero line, Remco in 1980 started their Universal Monsters toy line. They started with a line of 8-inch figures. There was Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, the Mummy, and Dracula. Those were the first 4 figures released in the 8-inch line. And they were licensed so that they would look more like the movie versions from the 30s and 40s.
The bodies were weird, though.
The exception was Dracula, who didn't look like Lugosi because apparently there was some kind of lawsuit going on between the Lugosi estate and Universal at the time.
Dracula looked like this.
Yeah, but the face didn't really look like Lugosi.
And the bodies, they look like Mego figures, but the bodies inside were not. They were like plastic.
Right. The reason they look like Mego figures is because they were sculpted by frequent Mego collaborator Ken Scheller.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and the box had really, really cool box art by someone named Chronister. Take a look at the box art when you get a chance. It's great painted
put
stuff.
Something right there.
Like up there with the models, the Aurora model box art. Really,
I had
really cool.
Got Dracula for Christmas in 1980.
So you had the 8-inch one.
I had the 8-inch one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't have any of the 8-inch.
That's how I knew. Like the body was weird. It was like plastic. Like you could push in on the body. Like it was. Costume looked great. Looked like Dracula's costume. But once you took the shirt off, it really. It wasn't like a Mego body.
Yeah.
It was flimsy plastic.
Right. The same year, these monsters had glow in the dark components.
Yes, that's why the plastic.
Or hands or
it was all
like
white
that.
plastic and it would glow in the dark.
Right. And they also released this in the same year something called the Monsterizer playset. It looked like something out of The Bride of Frankenstein. It was like a coffin-shaped thing that had a cage that went down, and when you put them in it, it would put lights on it and make them glow brighter.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, and it's actually one of the most sought-after collectibles.
Yeah, very hard
from
to
this
find.
line. Really, really hard to find. The 8-inch monster.
What's wrong with Dracula? He's losing his monster power. So is Frankenstein. Quick, into the Monsterizer.
You can activate the Monsterizer, batteries not included, and imagine you're restoring monster power to Frankenstein. Figures sold separately. You crank him into the chamber. It closes automatically.
Activate the Monsterizer. I feel like a new monster.
The Monsterizer comes complete as shown. Frankenstein and Dracula figures are sold separately. New from Remco.
Monsterizer.
These sell for good money too now too.
Yeah, at the end I was going to mention that these actually go for
good money.
Pretty good money. So these were successful enough that in 1981, Remco released 2 more characters. They released the Phantom of the Opera and the Creature from the Black Lagoon in the 8-inch form.
Okay.
The creature looks really good, actually. When you get
I didn't know about
see
those.
It looks really cool. It looks very much like the original design for the makeup.
Cool.
Yeah,
like I said, I had Dracula. I didn't have any of the other ones.
Right.
And he fought the Mego figures.
Right. These 2 figures, by the way, Phantom and Mummy, they came out in a much smaller run, so they're much more collectible than the first 4
Always
figures.
the case.
Right. Then, in 1981, they also released the mini monster figures, which, following Kenner's Star Wars example, these were 3 3/4 figures with 5 points of articulation, just like Star Wars figures.
Do you have any of these?
I did.
I had Wolfman.
I'm pretty sure I had Creature and Dracula.
I had
I'm trying to
Wolfman.
remember.
I definitely had the Wolfman.
Yeah, and in this line was Dracula and the Phantom of the Opera. They both had vinyl capes, like Darth Vader in Star Wars.
Oh, because that's the Wolfman hung out with Chewbacca.
Right. They had Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, Wolfman, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. These were all reissued later in 1981 with new glow-in-the-dark parts. And also a smaller version of the Monsterizer. You can put these figures in
and glow them
and
too.
also make them glow a little brighter.
I know someone who collects these.
Yeah, this is super rare to find, by the way, the little Monsterizer.
The Monsterizer, but I know someone who collects these figures too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Gerard collects these.
Oh yeah, they're really nice.
They're really well sculpted for 3 3/4 figures, and they just and like you said, they look like the Universal monsters.
They're very
the Universal monsters have really never lost popularity.
No.
It's the battle of the mini monsters. Introducing Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, and Creature from the Black Lagoon.
The monsters with glow-in-the-dark features.
Frankenstein is in a foul temper. Dracula flies in, fangs bared. Creature surfaces, dripping with rage. Phantom shows his fiendish face. I can't look. Is he ugly? The monster battle rages on. It's a howl.
The monsters with glow-in-the-dark features, each sold separately from Remco.
There was also a mini monster play case that was released at this time. It was a plastic case with like sort of a vacuum formed inside, vacuum plastic inside, and it had little cardboard features like doors and tune things that you could play with the monsters in. Each one like sort of like this part's for the Mummy, this part's for Dracula, this part's for Frankenstein.
Oh, that's cool.
This is pretty rare too to find nowadays because I have a feeling it was kind of fragile.
It sounds like it was cardboard.
Yeah,
the kids play with it.
Right, and like I said, a lot of this stuff is really, really collectible. For example, you're not going to find a boxed figure with the 8-inch figure. Probably you won't find one for under $275 on the collector's market.
I shouldn't have opened it. Oh, yes, I should, because I played with it. Right. So I did what every kid did.
You're definitely not going to find a carded 3 3/4 figure for under $180. And the Monsterizers and playsets go for like $350 and up.
Wow.
When you could find them on the collector's markets. So the cool thing about this is it was yet another time where in the 1980s, a company or a creator or somebody tried to bring back the original Frighteners. We've talked about this before, how much we love the original Frighteners and how they kind of came back in the 80s with things like the Monster Squad.
I love the original.
Yeah, American Werewolf
Monsters.
in London and all that stuff.
But and that's the thing, they always come back. There's a cycle to the Universal Monsters. There's always a point where someone, and I'd love to know how this happens, like someone goes into an office somewhere and says, we should do the Universal Monsters again. And the Universal Monsters, the license is owned by Universal
right now.
So Universal continues to let people use them.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, how much Dracula and Frankenstein, Wolfman stuff has been out there product-wise in the last 10 years alone.
Now it's
so much. It's licensed so much.
Super 7 just put out a line of bubble bath bottles shaped like Universal Monsters and 1950s aliens like the Metaluna.
Yeah, and it's just amazing.
Just came out.
They're still popular to this day. People love these.
They love the monsters.
And for me, this line, the 8-inch line for me was important because it was the first time in history that Batman fights Dracula.
There you go.
In my living room.
Before the comics.
Batman fought Dracula.
Right.
And you could do that. And, if I would have had Frankenstein, he probably would have fought Superman. He probably would have been Solomon Grundy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it would have been a good Solomon Grundy figure.
But these figures, I really remember these as a kid because I got them from, I think exactly where I got them too, which is, as strange as this is going to sound, I remember exactly how I got them. What happened in my family is my dad comes from a very large family. He has 13 brothers and sisters, and we would get together for Christmas with all of my cousins and all of my aunts and uncles. My grandparents ran a Boy Scout camp in New Jersey, and we would all go there and stay there. And my grandmother gave me, for Christmas, 1980, Dracula was my Christmas present from her. So we were up there, and I opened it up, and it was Dracula. And
that's awesome. I
literally remember when I got it, where I was when I got this Dracula, and I played with him for months and months and months.
Yeah,
great toy line. Didn't know about toy until I opened that gift. So
so
good memories.
Did you have any of the Remco Universal Monster toys?
What's your memories?
Yeah, what are your memories attached to them? And do you collect Universal Monster stuff in general?
I hope somebody does.
Are there better versions than the Remco? I'm sure there are by now.
I'm sure there are now. Yeah.
Let us know. What's your favorite Universal Monster? What's your favorite Universal Monster movie?
What's your favorite Universal Monster? Just curiosity from you.
I'm going to go Wolfman.
Okay.
Yeah, I always like werewolves.
I would probably go Dracula.
Dracula's pretty good.
Just because that's the toy that I had, and I've always been fascinated with vampires. See our Lost Boys episode. How fascinating!
That's right.
That has never changed. And again, the love for vampires always starts with that Universal Dracula. There's no one before that.
Yeah.
If you don't like him, you don't get into the Twilight and the other things.
I didn't get into Twilight.
Oh, sorry, the Lost Boys. Yes, he did.
Like secretly putting glitter on my Dracula toys.
That's going to be your next episode. Brian has pitched a Twilight episode since we started the channel. I always say no, we're not doing Twilight.
Let it happen.
We won't. He wants to talk about the books, and then he wants to talk about the figures, and he wants to talk about the movies. I say no every time.
Are you Team Jacob? Are you Team Edward?
He has a shirt that he wants to wear too. I won't let him.
Team Jacob.
Thanks for watching. Love what you collect.
Collect what you love.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.